I want to give you guys some of the secrets I've got from my journey as a content creator over the last couple of years. So I've noticed a lot of things, and in this video I want to get into why most content creators or content production agencies or agencies are broke. Or I mean, some of them are surviving, but they always don't have money. And I know a lot of young guys and a lot of guys have started agencies, and it sounds very cool to have an agency, but basically they are just freelance video guys that say that they've got an agency. And I mean, it does help in terms of tax, which I could also possibly get into at another stage. But I want to share my story. So, I mean, I obviously worked at a bank. For those of you who don't know, I studied actuarial science and all that. I had the whole banking experience. I studied applied maths and actuarial science at Wits, and then started working in banking, investment banking, and all that. And then my Instagram grew, and I started an agency, and I quit my job. So I've made some really good decisions along the way. I've made some poor decisions along the way, but I've had some incredible experiences. A lot of the stuff actually none of the stuff I regret, because at the end of the day, it's led me to where I am now. And I would definitely say how I look at content and how I create content has evolved. And I want to just share some of these insights with you guys, for anyone that is looking to get into it or is struggling with it. So let's get into why I feel that most agencies or content creation agencies or content creators are broke. So besides the obvious things is content's always changing, and it's hard to get on top of the different styles or whatever. So you're always trying to learn something new. And as soon as you sort of figure something out, I mean, I've seen it as Instagram's evolved. Like, I used to make money from taking pictures, and all of a sudden there was stories, then the reels, and this, and what you see in videos has changed. So like, the other thing is obviously competition. Like, there's a lot of competition. Like, everyone wants to be a content creator. It's pretty fun. Like, looking out from the side of the world, I mean, there's been a study in America where the average kid now wants to be a content creator. And there is a lot of competition. I think then also, I know gear is expensive. Whether or not you need to use expensive gear is another story. And I'm beginning to see that expensive gear is not particularly necessary. So those are the obvious things. I mean, that's what keeps you broke. But I want to get into probably the deeper thing that keeps a lot of agencies and content creators broke. And I think it's because they don't run. I think people think it's easy, and like the romance about being a content creator is you get to do what you want to do. You get to take beautiful pictures on Instagram. You get to post them, and everyone's like, wow, these are incredible pictures. You get lots of likes. You get lots of followers, and then you get lots of brand sponsorship deals. That is how basically the model is. Take great pictures or take great videos, get lots of likes, get lots of views, get lots of followers, get lots of brand deals, make lots of money. And maybe there was a stage where it was like that, and maybe there are people that do get that right. I'm not going to deny that there aren't people that got that right, because I got that right for a little while. But as it's become more competitive and people get more accustomed to seeing beautiful content, and there is more content out there, and what makes someone impressed has changed. Like, before, a simple picture, if no one had really seen, like, take example, like the Northern Lights. Like, I used to hardly ever see Northern Light pictures before Instagram. Like, whenever I saw one, I was like, wow. Where like now I go on Instagram and I see a Northern Light picture 5 times a day. And even then, it's the best Northern Lights pictures that you've ever seen. So you sort of become like accustomed and numb to these things. So it's harder to go get those incredible things, because there's people all over the world with phones and cameras trying to capture stuff. I could get into all the fancy stuff, but I'm not even going to go there, because that's not the point of the video. I think the point of the video is that content can still do really well. And I want to bring this analogy. And I know a lot of people dislike McDonald's, and this is not whether McDonald's is good for you or healthy for you or whether they make great burgers or not. It's not about that. But I want you to contrast the local burger shop that's down the road from your house versus McDonald's. So think about this. How crazy is it? And I've traveled there's McDonald's in almost every single country I've traveled to, all over the world. And you can go get a Big Mac and it tastes almost exactly the same. It's unreal. Like wherever you go in the world, you can get a McDonald's and it's basically exactly the same as any other McDonald's. Think about how crazy that is. Like people don't even speak the same languages. How can they open a McDonald's anywhere in the world, train people, I'll introduce you guys to Chopper, train people to make the same product, that the quality and price is very similar across the world. I mean, there's something called the Big Mac Index, which is also quite cool. But now, think about how much money McDonald's make. And it's not because they make the best burger. It's because they have the best systems, processes, leverage. And they do the same thing over and over. It's like there's no art to making their burgers. And like I love art and I don't ever want to downplay art because, I mean, art is important. But I think art is what keeps a lot of creators poor. And I've noticed this from when I had my agency. Whenever we did a video project for a different company, what they expected was completely different. It wasn't like just like where if certain production companies where they focus on, okay, we only do podcasts. We only do podcasts, or we only do potentially headshots, or we only do running pictures or whatever. They've got all their systems built. Like they know they've got a whole. You don't have to train up people to do a new job. Like if you do podcasts only, it's easier to market just podcasts. People it's easier to rank for that on SEO. It's easy to rank for that on a website. It's easy to train people. You can get someone off the street that hasn't studied filmmaking, and you can show them how to just record a podcast. They don't have to do fancy angles, the lighting standard, and you're able to get just normal people and get a good solid product across. The problem is most creatives and production agencies, and I know this because I was there, it's an ego thing and it's also an art thing, and you feel like you want to make new things the whole time. But the issue is that when you do work across all these different projects and we were once shooting a running campaign, and the next week we were doing videos about leather handbags. So think about how hard that is. And the issue is that if we had just done the running stuff and we had incredible pictures and we just pitched to more running companies, we would have had all the models. We would have, my photographers or me was great at shooting video about runners. We knew all the locations and stuff. It took ages to find the locations, took ages to learn how to take good running pictures. It was really, really fun. Don't get me wrong. But the issue is the next job we were shooting leather handbags. So all that experience has now gone to waste. We're starting from ground zero again, because now we need to figure out how to tell stories about leather handbags. Whereas if we'd just gone and found another running job, we knew all the locations, we knew how to shoot it, we knew all the models, and we wouldn't have to go through that same learning curve. So in terms of the McDonald's thing, the reason why McDonald's does so well is because they've created consistency and they've got systems. And any good business I know now is consistent. They don't have a million different products, because each product has, to do well, you just need one or two products that are incredible. You don't need 20 products that are okay. So for instance, just narrow down, and I think that's what I've learned. So instead of doing a production company that does everything now, I'm focusing on Safari, and I've got a website about it. Go deeper on one thing as opposed to being shallow on a whole bunch of things. So I also the one thing I will say about that is doing all the different things has allowed me to learn a whole bunch of different skills, and it's allowed me to know all this to actually do my thing right. So I don't want to say something's wrong, but genuinely, if you want to do well having your own business, it's really important to rather go deep on certain things and sort of narrow down the product. So there's an e-commerce company I worked for, and they did clothing, and they did they got new clothing. I mean, it was a maternity brand. They did new clothing. They got a whole bunch of they had a designer designing new outfits every single month. They're probably getting 30 new outfits a month. The issue was every time they do a new outfit, they have to photograph it, they have to quality control it. They then have to upload it, they have to run ads on it, they have to name it correctly for the website, they have to upload it to the website. So now all of a sudden there's like 100 different things that have been created, and none of the products were named properly. And it was expensive to. Can you think how much it cost to shoot 30 products a month? They were doing a photo shoot every single week, but because they didn't have money, they went and got an average photographer, and the pictures were bad. And because the pictures were bad, like the Google ads were bad. And because the Google ads were bad and they weren't loaded properly, they weren't named correctly, they didn't have metadata, and no one could find them. So they weren't ranking on SEO. So instead of like being this really nice brand, they just had they obviously changed. Like we worked with them quite hard to get it. And where they changed was they actually got rid of their designer and they focused on, like I helped them research on SEO, what people actually were looking for, like maternity jeans, like activewear for maternity stuff. And there was really only 10 major products that people or ladies or whoever was searching for it were searching for. So what we did, instead of like trying to get a million different products on the website every month, we really focused on those 10 products. And we went and got a proper model, a proper shoot, and we took beautiful pictures. And because we reduced doing a ton of shitty pictures to a couple of really good pictures with a good model, the whole brand felt different. When we uploaded those pictures and there was less pictures, we were able to actually name them correctly, give them the right descriptions, categorize them properly, and run Google ads on them. So instead of, and then the other thing that happens is you end up like, if you have too many options, you end up with like stuff going out of stock. You have a quality control issue. So all of a sudden now you can't check things. So if the button starts falling off on one outfit, now your whole brand gets damaged. So, I mean, and then on top of that, I mean, yeah, so that's the one thing. And then the other thing is then you end up like, if you get styles that people don't like, now you get like overloaded with all these styles that people aren't buying, and then you got to store them and all this stuff. And then what they ended up doing was doubling down on the stuff that people didn't want. They would end up running ads on the actual, this has gone very far from content creation, but it does talk about content creation and the importance of keeping it simple. So they ended up doubling down on the stuff that wasn't selling, which was the complete wrong move. People obviously didn't want this, so they felt they needed to get rid of it. So what they then did was they actually put that stuff on special. They ran ads on the stuff that people wasn't buying. And now that's the absolute worst thing to do. You don't run ads on stuff that people don't want, because then people it damages your brand and people obviously don't want it. So you run ads on the really good stuff, what people love, because that gets them to the website and then that gets them converting and that brings in sales. So long story short, to like content creation, I think people need to change the way that they view content creation, and specifically content creators. And I've learned from working with a bunch of different companies, from e-commerce companies to whatever, because I've got a digital agency. I've learned that what I thought was great content, beautiful picture, it doesn't necessarily result in more sales. Even though it's a great picture, it's a piece of art. Like, unfortunately, you either need to help companies get more eyes on their products or sell stuff. So there are ways to get around this. I think you can make money in content, but you need to do the stuff that most other people don't find fun or sexy. So helping a brand start a YouTube channel and helping them start a podcast isn't sexy. But if you can show that and you can record that and you can show how you've grown their brand and it's brought in more sales, it's very easy to go get another client. And then the other thing is, and like leading into that or coming from that, whatever you want to say, most content creators, their content revolves around them specifically. So if I take brilliant running pictures or whatever, people will want me to do it. Like, I will not be making money unless I'm physically holding a camera in my hand. And I love to hold a camera in my hand, but it's not the same when you have to do it for work. And like do all these random jobs, because you end up doing these not so great jobs that bring in money. Because anyway, so the point is, if you had to do the podcast setup, all of a sudden now you can train juniors, and you don't actually have to hold. So all of a sudden now you're running the business. Because if you are having to take the pictures and you are filming, you are not an entrepreneur. I mean, you are an entrepreneur, but you're not you are theoretically a business owner, but you're basically a glorified freelancer. And if you're going to be a glorified freelancer, yeah, you can make money, but there's going to come a time, and trust me, I've been there. There's going to come a time where you are tired of holding a camera. There's going to come a time where you are tired and trends change, and there are going to be younger guys that are maybe 70% as good as you, but they are like a tenth of your price, and they're going to get the work. And then you're going to have to be like, you don't want to be an old man or an old lady like competing with younger people. Rather create a system, create leverage and create a system that, I mean, systems are so important. Create a system where it can be easily repeatable. And that full circle back to McDonald's. Like, like someone might say creating a burger company that makes the fanciest burgers, well, is the coolest thing to do. And most people would be prouder of making the best burgers in, say, Cape Town. But like, there might be one guy that's got it right and he's making a huge amount of money, and that's a thing. But like, genuinely, like, sometimes like creating the system that makes a consistent burger will do better. And I can, trust me, the guy that owns McDonald's, or I mean, not that there's one guy, there's probably multiple shareholders, but the guy that started McDonald's versus the guy that makes the best burgers in one city, the guy that owns McDonald's is probably having more fun in his life now. He's probably like sold the company, he's got a lot of money, he's probably traveling the world, having a great time, taking pictures of things he loves. The guy that's trying to still make burgers every single week, I mean, unless he's really passionate about it, but 10 years down the line, are you really going to be happy about trying to come up with a new burger with brie? I don't know. And even then, you got to do different things. I mean, like, you would have to start a YouTube channel and all that stuff. So I'm basically just going around in a circle now. But I think the important thing that I wanted to share is that, like, you don't have to stay broke. I think the biggest thing is trying to find stuff that you can repeat over and over again. And yes, it is boring, but it allows you to move on to the next thing. It allows you to scale and gives you leverage. And like, as you want to grow a business, that stuff is really important. You can't get caught in the detail the whole time. The other thing is, like, focus on all the different channels. Like, have a website. Don't just focus on Instagram. Like, being an Instagram content creator, I don't think just cuts it these days. I genuinely don't. There are people that do it, but like, have a YouTube channel. Like, if you're going to be an adventure photographer, have a YouTube channel about how you get to these cool places around the world, or what gear you use and stuff. Like, give value back to your people. Give people a reason why they watch you. Yeah, like the beautiful picture is the marketing, but you need to sort of funnel that into sales or information. And you can sell guides. I mean, presets are a bit overdone, but you could sell presets, you could sell guides, you could have products, you could have drop shipping. Like, there's a lot of things you could go from there. So get the YouTube channel going, get the website going. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope I didn't ramble too much. If you enjoyed this, recommend it. It's a new channel. Like and subscribe. Actually, like, I know a lot of YouTubers say when you subscribe, it helps the channel a lot, which I've not seen for myself. Maybe I don't have enough subscribers yet. But like and subscribe. Would like to see if it does help the channel. And yeah, this is my second video, so I'm going to try to get one out today. They're going to be quite raw in the beginning, just to get the vibe going. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, and yeah, peace out.